All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Click Clack Chit Chat episode 6. It's been a short break, but regardless, we're finally here and we're ready to rock. I'm Digital Casts, William Zhang, and after that short hiatus, one guest that we're all familiar with in the scene, and who better than really Minimise Jackson White. First off, Jackson, how are you feeling? Are you feeling healthy? Are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, mate.
Missing anything right now?
I'm not missing anything. Nothing's missing.
Really? All right, then.
Yeah.
You want to tell me the story of why? Of how? Really? About 25% of your eyebrows are gone.
I thought we were. I told you. I signed the contract that we weren't going to talk about this digital.
A contract? Hey, look, it's non-binding, so you need a lawyer if you want to sue me.
All right. Pretty much started like this, right?
Yeah.
I was drinking a bit.
A bit.
Have you heard of King's Cup?
King's Cup? I absolutely have. I love the game. Why?
Okay, so we're playing King's Cup.
Yeah.
And I lost the first King's Cup.
Okay.
So I was a bit gone already, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I had a second King's Cup.
Did you lose the
And
second?
I didn't even lose that one, but someone offered me $10 to drink it.
So you chugged a second King's Cup for $10. I mean, that's...
Look, I don't think I would make that choice if I wasn't already a bit drunk.
Okay, did you get the $10 or did you forget?
Yeah, I got the $10.
Okay, sure. And then?
And then I don't remember a whole lot. But I do remember getting a haircut. And somewhere along that haircut,
Yeah.
some eyebrows were shaved.
So
And
this haircut was for your hair, not just eye
yeah,
hair.
so they're cutting my hair. They're trying to give me a mullet, right?
How's it look?
How does the hair look?
Yeah. I'm curious too. I'm genuinely curious.
Hold on. You see the mullet setup?
Jesus Christ, man. Fucking hell. Like, you're in Perth and you guys aren't even locked down. Why you went to such extremes?
Look, I wasn't in the right state of mind, alright? And I was unrecoverable.
Okay, understandable. And then, so they gave you the mullet first, and then you're like, oh boys, let's just go all the way, make him look full tradie.
Well, look, I think that it started off as an accident. And then they tried to even it up on both sides.
Even it up! You've already lost like that much. And it's like, oh no, hang on, we'll have to cut off a little bit more.
Well, look, I couldn't have one eyebrow half shaven off, and then the other one be fine,
I mean, like, if you had one eyebrow half shaved, you would still have more eyebrow than what you have now. Across the board.
Yeah, but I'd just look weirder. You know what I mean? I think it's the right call.
Sure, but so now what? Are you trying to grow it back?
I mean, this is growing back a bit.
Over how many days?
This
Dude,
one.
that looks.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know how long this takes.
It looks like pubes. It looks like my pubes. Honest to God, right now.
Okay, bro. I don't need that information.
Stickly and prickly. Okay, well, don't you have that Perth land that you're playing in at some point in the near future?
That got cancelled due to lack of interest, sadly.
Really, dude? But
Yeah.
I thought in Perth, there'll be a decent amount of teams playing. No, what? At least
Only 3 teams signed up, apparently.
Oh, that's sad. So they couldn't really run a round robin, otherwise it'll be boring as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that said they were interested, but they just never ended up signing up. So it was kind of only 3 teams at the end.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But I think they're gonna reschedule it, so hopefully it's up further in the future.
Yeah, understandable. I can hopefully see that coming, especially now that well, there's a couple of teams who don't need to go North America anymore, so maybe they might have time to play in the LAN. Well, speaking of Perth side, so what, Western Australia? I mean, Maple, he can play, right? Perth is in West Australia, I think. It is it? Jackson? And this guy's having the most serious think of his life right now.
Dude, I just cut out for
Oh, did you? It was all I could see was you staring at the screen very seriously for about 10 seconds. Like, dude, what the hell, man?
I just cut out for 20 seconds. I don't know.
Your internet or your brain?
No, my Discord.
Oh, okay, sure. Fair enough. Maybe
Yeah,
you
I'm
had some
back.
more uh, drinks prior to this?
Sorry.
Nothing. I didn't say anything. All right. So back on topic, right? So a few teams,
Okay.
obviously now they can't go to North America, and well, I guess it's time to play some more Valorant locally. So maybe play AESL, whatever that thing's called. Western Australia University Esports. That got postponed to a later date, which is pretty unfortunate. But they still play AEN and Nerdnex. What's the story behind that? Because it's literally like the collab of some pretty cracked players.
So Nerdneck just something me and Scroll kind of chucked together. It's like the best players we could find. We had Dragon on that team for a bit trialing.
Right.
Until he got offered by Bliss. And then it's been really hard to find a fifth since then. So we subbed in Tax.
And Tax was Deshawn for you guys?
Deshawn, yeah. The legendary Deshawn.
Deshawn. Dude, why is he even called Deshawn? But fair enough. So you knew Scroll decently well to actually just hit him up and say, "Oi, we should make a team."
Not really. I didn't really know him that much before, but we were both interested in forming a team, so
right.
we just just like played ranked together a couple times, and he thought I was good. I thought he was good, but yeah.
In what sense though? Because like you're a bit of a flex, I would say, but it's mostly the brain behind you that's sought after. I would like to imagine, not to joke you off or
I'm
anything.
kind of cracked, bro. Put me on the
kind of cracked,
bro. You're underestimating the pure aim, you know.
Sure.
Pure genetic god.
Genetic god that only hits half his eyebrows right now, but what's over there?
I had the best eyebrow genetics before they got shaved off. That's fact.
So you have to give a chance for the rest of us guys here.
Dude, I don't want to talk about eyebrows. I miss them too much.
Okay, I'll stop it right there. You sound depressed every single time I mention it, but I can't help it, man. I'm staring at you. I'm like, holy crap. Okay, when Mind Freak, they couldn't actually make it into, what was it, LCQ. Obviously, the guys, they were a bit down, but like, I remember speaking to Scroll afterwards. I'm like, oh, so what's the plan for Mind Freak now? Because like, well, most of the guys are just quitting, retiring. He's like, oh, I'm probably just gonna make a new team, and this was it. All the way back then. This was like a month or two ago.
Yeah, so me and him have been talking for a while, but it's been hard to find the players needed because there's not many good free agents in the scene.
Right. Okay. Realistically, right now you have what? Minimize, Scroll, Yifang, Tax, and who was the other?
Well, Squeaks. But Tax is just sub for the tournament.
Tax, he doesn't want to commit and play any further?
Well, the problem is he can't play because he's probably gonna go to Europe in a couple months.
Why?
Family.
Family.
He's from Europe.
Was he like Lithuanian?
He's Lithuanian.
Croatian? Oh,
he's Croatian.
Okay, I was close. I was very close. And what, his family are just saying, no, screw this, Australia. Like, we've been in lockdown for so long. We're just going to go back to Europe.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't ask him about his family, but I just know that he's going back to Europe.
Jesus Christ. And, well, maybe it's not a bad career choice if he wants to play Valorant in Europe, because a lot more opportunity there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just kind of being run into the ground at the moment.
Yeah, it really does suck, doesn't it? And Half an Asian actually in the chat, he was just saying that Dragon's been unbanned, which is, I would say, nice timing, but instantly he got picked up by Bliss, and, well, Azo's gone, so I suppose the next best option really is Dragon, so hopefully he plays well.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon's a sharp player, he's young, he's got a lot of room to improve, so I think he should grow up to show his full potential, hopefully on the right team.
And what was it? I think Team Bliss, towards the end of Oceania Championships, they were looking good, man. They were looking strong. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not really surprised, but didn't they go down to Peace at the time?
Yeah, so they lost a piece. They beat Wildcard and Mind Freak.
Yeah, like, could you have seen that coming? Well, maybe I could have seen that Mind Freak game being reasonably close, but beating Wildcard? Holy crap, dude. They were like envy of the LCQ. I mean, OC champs.
I think Wildcard, they underperformed, I think, more than Bliss overperforming, in my opinion.
Right. What? So it was just like that's period of the period of like being in a slump or something, and Wildcard they just struggled.
Well, Wildcard, I know that they came off a lot of a role change, so they changed their roles around a whole lot before that tournament.
Right.
So there are a lot of players on new roles, so they probably didn't have that much depth. And I think they're still trying to figure out what roles they all want to play on that team.
Right. So like realistically, just going to theory, you think that if they didn't, try switch up the roles, that late into the year they would have had a better chance?
I mean, I think they will. Like, they definitely played better in the past. I think they were quite weak. I think, yeah, going into that tournament.
Well, speaking of like that tournament as well, dude, like I still relive that moment in my nightmares. 4v1 or something versus Nation, and you guys swung 1 by 1, and he just gets every single kill, match point. I'm just like, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was 12-5 at that point, right?
Yeah, that's true. But like, what happened during that? Like, obviously, 12-5. The game's not over. Your odds are pretty slim, but was it just the pressure and everyone just started pushing him?
I mean, I think at that point it's kind of like, you just want to get a kill.
You want to get a kill because you guys have been flogged for the whole game or something?
Yeah, and I mean, like, if you're winning 12-5, you don't really have a whole lot of pressure on you.
Right.
As a clutch, in the clutch situation.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you lose it, who cares? If you win it, it's cool.
So all they did was just play the game and... Oh, whoa, damn. I
mean, Nations pops off. Good player.
Yeah. Christ almighty. And then after that, I messaged you briefly of like a crying emote, and obviously you were frustrated about that. But what was next? Because not soon like after, Nebula just disbanded? Or maybe there's more to the story that we don't actually know about.
So yeah, Tax was set to go to Europe.
Oh, so you guys knew about this a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right.
So the option was like, we need to get someone new on the team who can feel the firepower of Tax.
Right.
And the option was either A, we try to rebuild around this new team with Tax, or we all go, like, I'll go to see if I can get any better offers. And I decided, it'd probably be easier for me to try to find another team than stay with the current roster.
So was that actually easier? Because, timing, Dragon, like, I hate to bring it up, he just got unbanned. You could have maybe brought him back, and it would have been like, what, slotting an old friend back into the roster of sorts, no?
I don't think Dragon would have played on that team.
Okay, fair, because he wanted to, explore other offers as well. Similar story.
I mean, we tried with Dragon on Nerdneck. I think his mind was pretty set on joining Bliss if he got unbanned, so...
Alright, sheesh.
Because Bliss had already talked to him, like, a while ago.
Trying to really get in the scoops and say, what? We want you as soon as you're unbanned?
Yeah.
Jesus, those guys are just making preparations for like 2022 already. Unbelievable. But I suppose it is good on them to get a really talented player, basically hook, line, and sinker ready to join the team at the earliest convenience. And then now on Nerdnext, once again, you guys are just kind of struggling to find that firepower player, which, Yifeng, he said a while ago, which, by the way, I'll get him on the show at some point to have chat in the future, but he was surprised that OC is lacking duelists.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to, like, you can't really, there's no development of talent in this region.
Why is that, you think?
Because there's no, if you're a cracked, all the top rosters are pretty set, right?
Yeah.
If you're like a cracked Jet main, not many teams are going to take the time to develop you, right? Because there's no real point. Like, if you look at NA or EU, if you're a cracked Jet,
yeah,
there's like established teams in like the top 20 that'll be willing to take a risk to develop you. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's no team that's gonna, like, either teams in the top 20 don't even have the skill or talent to develop you, or they just don't, like want to try to develop someone.
So it's simply because like of the region that they don't want to try make this crack jet like even better, or simply just build a team around it, or like just get better team chemistry going. Is that what you're saying?
I just think we don't have the resources to develop players in this region.
Except for like the top the top 5 teams really. The big
I
names?
mean, like, I can't think of many players that have been developed in this region. Like, because all the teams, I'd say outside of top 10, just don't, what do you call it?
Just don't have the funding or something?
Oh, I was gonna say they don't stick together long enough to develop players.
Right. And realistically, you think that if a team stuck together long enough, like for as long as Nebula did, what was that, like basically a year? You could have seen some really solid results.
I mean, I think that's kind of how I developed as a player, and how like players on my team, like Rose and even like to say Dragon to an extent.
Yeah.
And like all those players, like they developed a lot because, I put them in a system, and like we worked together to build something.
Oh, wait.
And we were all learning.
You put them in this system. You're starting to sound like Kobe Bryant here. What do you mean?
Well, it's just like, everyone has their role in the team.
Right.
And like they're learning how to play as part of a team instead of like, if you join a team and they disband after a week, you're never gonna really learn like the team fundamentals required. Does that make sense?
What do you mean by team fundamentals? Because like this is interesting now, like picking the brain of like an IGL and like honestly a bit of a team coach perspective.
Well, if you look at a lot of the IG, like this is the problem with the duelists is like you have the cracked ranked main duelist, right? You have like the cracked duelist, but they don't have the team fundamentals. So like they might just only be good at being super aggro. So they don't know how to play man advantage, or they don't even know how to play passive, or like their comms are complete garbage. Stuff like that. So they don't know how to trade the team. They don't know how to be selfless and entry.
Yeah.
Because they have that ranked mentality.
And like, if I can't, get these frags fly in there, then other people on my team can't. And if I die, then it's a round loss. GG. So I'll bait them or something.
Yeah, because they haven't been in a team that they trusted long enough. Because like a lot of people have, a lot of Jets have like what's called like the superstar syndrome, right? So they play on a team and they're playing Jet, so they're getting all the kills. So they think they're like the best.
Yeah.
So they don't want to play for the team anymore, and I feel like this is really common among the like the, I don't know, like the Evo leagues and the amateur leagues, and even like some of the legend teams. Is you have these cracked Jets, well, yeah, and they think that they're a lot better than they are, so they never learn the team fundamentals because they think, okay, I just gotta carry harder, right?
And well, hey, look, I think it may work for a very select few individuals for a period of time. Like what, Ninum during his prime, I guess. Like that was the whole story behind it all. No, Bronski for some games, but when like you play against a more practiced team, like you said, with better team fundamentals, that's when you really realize, oh my god, I'm lacking a bit, and well, you guys end up losing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you look at teams like the Ninum Direwolves,
yeah,
or the even the Chiefs, right? They play really well to like elevate their duelists. You know what I mean?
Like they throw in the util to support them, just give them the extra.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say this applies. Like I'd probably say it does apply a little bit to them. But I think it mainly it doesn't really apply to them because like they kind of want to be in that system and practice. You know what I mean? So it's not
kind of, and I kind of don't, because I'm just not in that kind of group, or like I wouldn't say mentality, but I'm just not in that environment. I'm not a pro player, so I can't really experience it or put myself into the shoes of an actual pro player in the scene. But well, moving on, right? And you spoke of Jet a moment ago, and that's the thing I want to ask you about, because there were recent Jet nerfs, and obviously it has to be a nerf because what? She's lost one smoke. What else had she lost? It was just a smoke, right? I think.
And the right click is you don't get the
Yeah,
knife
that's
smack.
right, that's right, that's right. Do you think like that's good enough to balance her? Because like, let's be honest, prior to the changes, Jet was kind of still kind of cracks. I mean, like they did try to make her a little bit harder to use util more expensive, but the good Jet players, they really worked around it, and there's really no difference. But now I think you're seeing less of these flashy cracks, multi-kill frag after frag plays, and they're just really playing a lot slower.
I think it's not gonna change much, but I think
Realistically.
it's good. I think it doesn't really make sense to make any drastic changes right now before LCQ and Champions.
That's also true. Also very true.
Like I really think I won't be surprised if they have some bigger changes in store for Jet, but they're just waiting till after Champions.
Yeah, because you want to cuck the big name pro teams, the $1 million teams right now.
Yeah, I mean, I expect to see like a whole lot of changes after Champions, but yeah.
Yeah, but
I think Jet won't really be affected by these changes.
Okay.
And I think a lot of Jets play Jet. I think part of why Jet is so popular is one, she's like obviously really good.
Yeah.
But two, she's really fun to play, and like I think when you combine those two, because if you look at some heroes like Viper or Sky, they were all. I mean, Viper got buffed, but even when Viper was buffed, it took like a while till people figured her out.
Yes, yeah.
So when you look at it like that, like players won't ever find, like, it takes a while to kind of like switch the meta up if no one's playing the hero, you know what I mean? But like the opposite for Jet,
right?
Because like it's gonna take ages for Jet to fall out of meta because people are gonna keep trying to force her, because people love playing her. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. Look, I'll be honest. Out of all the characters I've played, surprisingly, even to this day, I've played Cypher the most. For some reason, but nowadays I'm really starting to play Viper across like most maps, and Jet is the agent I've played the very least, and I guess she's kind of fun, but it just seems like her whole kit, it just takes a lot of practice to really get around to using, because you can curve your smokes, you can throw on the walls, you can dash, you can hover, you can fly up. I'm like, holy shit, man, fuck. And then you have the blades, and then you have to like, being able to jump while moving and throw your left clicks out accurately. There's the right click as well. There's so many variables.
Yeah, I think Jet is obviously has a higher skill floor than most heroes. But I do think it's also like it's just a different hero to most heroes. I think there's a lot of Jet and Reyna players that if you took them off the Jet and the Reyna, they'd be like they'd just fall off. You know what I mean?
Oh crap! Yeah, I can see that.
Because they're like super reliant on the Jet dash or the dismiss, and they play a lot of these other spots that you can't play on other heroes.
Right.
And I think it's kind of works vice versa. Like it's hard to get into that mentality, take advantage of the Jet. And it's also like, everyone plays the hero, right? So if you play it at a high level, people are gonna expect you to do the Jet stuff. So like all the good Jets are they're good in their own ways. That makes sense.
Yeah. I can see that, because like Lou, he plays Jet just a little bit differently from how Ninim does it. Also different to how Ronsky does it. Also how different to how Dragon does it. Also different to how Kelth does it. And very different to how Tax does it, because Tax, he doesn't even play Jet.
I mean, he's been spamming the ranked on Jet.
Well, just gotta get some, blades in before he moves over to Europe and just completely quits for a time, I guess. I don't know. But the next thing is, especially on maps like Bind, you hear me talk about it all the time when I cast Bind games, that, oh, look, they picked Raze because out of utility necessity. But nowadays, I see some teams, right, when they play Jet on Bind, I swear to God, they get better results out of having a Jet as opposed to Raze. Because I feel as the game goes on, you have more ways to really, clear angles, and Raze's util just, I think, becomes a little bit more or less effective, and plus people just start playing around her better. Because like, is she even still that necessary anymore going forward? Because like, if you had to ask me, like the ideal team comp, I wouldn't even have Raze.
I think I kind of disagree a bit.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, if you looked at how we played, I'm pretty sure you casted us on Bind. We were running the Raze on Node Next.
Yeah, you did. And then like I briefly talked about it. I'm like, okay, interesting. I guess it's nice. Very meta.
I think the way I see it is there's two options here.
Uh-huh.
Two things to consider. I mean, is like number one, people just love playing Jet, like I said before.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like the Jet mains on the team. They're always begging to play Jet if they
Right.
put on Raze. You know what I mean?
They start
So like, oh, just
complaining
let
and be
me
like,
play Jet.
oh, I can't dash. Oh, there's no
And
smokes.
and when you're playing Jet in ranked, you're gonna not flex. You're not really gonna learn how to be more creative with Raze. So if
Right.
you're only playing Jet, you're never gonna like, everyone knows Boombot Hookah,
Mm-hmm.
stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like that's the basic stuff. There's a lot more you can do in that map with a Raze that people aren't doing that we tried to experiment with when we were playing
Okay.
blind.
I'll be honest, I
And
didn't notice any of that, and I don't think you want to spoil either.
the other thing is, if you look at a lot of people will copy the top teams,
Okay.
and if you look at Gambit and Ascend, well, not Ascend,
Mostly
Ascend runs
Gambit
Sage,
apparently,
right?
because like in the chat they were saying that Gambit runs Jet on bind and like fully accurate. I think what they had double smoker.
Oh no, Gambit and Envy is what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Because if you look at so the reason they don't play a Raze
Uh-huh.
is in my opinion, is that they don't have they have a really good Jet player. They don't have a Raze player, right?
Right. Yay and Defo. Sure.
Yeah, and if you look at I can't believe I forgot his name, like the cracked guy in Envy.
Yay.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at like Ye's can't like I don't know. You could probably play Raze decently, but like he's such a good Jet,
Yeah.
and he's definitely gonna fall off on a Raze compared to his Jet.
Just so
So they're
comfortable.
putting these players on Jet because of the individual regions, which makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I had a cracked Jet, I wouldn't force him to play Raze.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fair
But a
enough.
lot of teams look at the top teams and they just copy without really considering it. In my
Without like
opinion.
considering like is it suitable for my players for my team.
Yeah, so they see, oh, we don't need a Raze anymore. The meta's changed because
Uh-huh.
Gambit and Envy are running a Jet now, and they don't consider like, okay, maybe the Jet's just, like maybe there's a reason. They don't consider the reasoning behind it. I don't think. And I think like Raze is better
Yeah.
generally
Fair
if you
enough.
don't have the Jet. I
Wow.
mean, if I think it's better, yeah, in my opinion.
Well, then here comes the third duelist, really. I mean, like, Phoenix is okay on some maps. He's there, but I think he really just gets, outshone by, like, Jets and Rays, and more often than not, Reyna as well. What do you think about Reyna? Because, like, I honestly think she's so viable from, like, what I've seen. Granted, the only piece of util, like, that's really, that can help her team out is her Lear, but everything else is selfish, right? But maybe it's the team composition, how the players play with each other. But the ratings I've seen in high tier like Valorant and Oceania, it's just beautiful to watch.
I think the Reyna and the Phoenix have fallen off
Right.
with the rise in Sky. It's
Ah, right, right.
it's hard to justify those two players, those two heroes. When you get so much value out of a Sky,
Mm-hmm.
and like you can put your cracked players on Sky and they can still get a lot of frags and
Yeah,
play for themselves a
for
lot.
sure.
If you look at like Sick, I mean I wouldn't say Sick's the best guy, but if
Subrosa.
you look at like yes, Sub Rosa and stuff like that, who's they're super cracked Phoenixes, but they've
Yeah.
been put onto the Sky role and they can kind of replicate what they're doing before, as well as provide like a whole lot of new util to the team.
Mm. But then again, dude, like that recent Sky nerf, like I saw it in action literally during the play AEN games. Like you could see a Sky, who was it? Squeaks? Yeah, Squeaks exactly. He throws it out, like the flash, and he pops it, and he's trying to push out, and the pull out for his gun is just so slow. I mean that's a really good like change in my opinion. Just nerfing her slightly so she can't get away with these crazy pop flash cracked plays, instant multi kill.
I mean,
Well, it's harder at least. The fuck was that?
that was the kid door being opened.
Okay.
But so the thing is like this. Right, I forgot I kind of forgot what I was talking about. The Sky Flash, like if you do hit them with Sky Flash,
Yeah.
um, like they're blind for 2 seconds, 3 seconds. I don't know. They're
2
blind for a long
seconds.
time,
Yeah.
right? So like 0.25 isn't gonna really matter.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair
But
enough.
you just gotta hit your flashes really. If you miss the flash, it's a lot harder to get away with it. Like before, you could like kind of half blind them
Yeah.
and then push with it, and then it's just an aim duel.
Yeah.
But now it's more like you're at a disadvantage if you miss the flash.
You're dead.
But I think I th- benefits players like me. I think who are like a lot better at flashing for the team than uh
Right, right.
than other people who can only really do the pop flashes through the smoke and stuff like that.
Mm. Well,
So yeah,
I'll take your word for it. Because like, even during that game, I saw Squeaks just like throw a flash all the way down, was it A main on bind, all the way into U-Haul, and it just allowed Yifang to push in, and essentially that was what won them that round, and that kind of stuff. So I guess you do have a point. It's just the range of the flashes, the way you can control it. But now, just a small question from the audience, actually. Incognic is asking, do you think Dragon to Bliss is an upgrade from Azo?
I definitely think it is.
Right.
Dragon's a good player, and he's a smart player, and
Still though,
I
after
think he
after
has
all
the
this time,
potential. Sorry,
still after all this time.
I
I
mean
mean,
when
like,
I was
sure,
playing with him,
he played
I
ranked,
mean
but
like
was he
yeah,
scrimming?
I mean he scrimmed with us for a bit
Right, right, right.
before he went to Bliss, and he was still really good. He was still fragging really well,
Jesus
and
Christ.
he's still like one of those players that's gonna put in the work behind the scenes for the
Something
right team.
about Russians and FPS games, isn't it?
Hey, what's that?
Something about Russians and like FPS games.
Oh yeah. Um,
Well, so you're saying that he had the potential to get really good. What, like, so obviously you said that he's cracked. He thinks, and the potential for what, to be the best duelist OCE.
I think he.
Yeah.
I don't know about best list OCE. I mean, I think like Autumn or Disco or something like one of those would have to fall off for that to happen. But I think he definitely has potential to be up there as like a top four, top five, pretty easily.
Right, right,
I
right.
think he's could definitely be like one of the futures of the scene, considering
He's young as well.
I mean the reality of the situation is you can't really put in the time into the OSC scene uh if you get any older, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I think being in high school is like the only way you could justify playing in this scene
Mm.
unless you're doing like part-time or uni or something like that.
Why do you think I'm only commentating and I don't play, dude? I don't have time for that stuff, man. Jesus, I don't want to be playing scrims for like 3 hours a night and then going to work in the morning. Goodness.
Yeah. I mean I'll probably be competing in SEA.
Flat out. Because like I was going to talk to you about that like in a bit, but just before we go, how would you rank the top duelists in OC? Because you said top five. Who are they?
Um I mean you don't have players like you don't have players on duelist, you know what I mean? That I
Right,
think would
because their
be
aim is just
in the
so
top
good.
five.
They can really be playing any character,
Like I think if Disco was playing duelist, he'd be a top five, right? But he's kind of playing Sky and stuff now.
which is good.
Yeah, I mean I think it's good, but I don't know. I'd probably have to bring up your other GG to help me make my decisions.
VLRGG, well, Ronsky is ranked number 4 in the world.
I think I would definitely still put Autumn at number one.
Really, just because of how he plays for the team, with the team as well.
I mean, I think you're like if you have a player as the star player of a team,
Yeah.
they're always gonna do better than like a star on a star roster. You know what I mean?
Okay, so like a star on a star roster, as in like say, for example, you guys, 5 players, all with names proven themselves, except for Squeaks, but he'll get there.
I mean, you can call our team a star roster.
Well,
Um,
I would call it a roster that's very intimidating to play against.
yeah. I mean, I would probably say Autumn, and then I would probably put Disco at number two.
Right. Great. Order has like the top two already, according to Minimize's list,
Yeah, and then I think you'd put Wronski in there.
of course. 4.
Um, Number four. It's very interesting. I think like who do you even look at
Who else like
like team wise?
really is there? I mean, like you say that Dragon's back, but once again, he's yet to like really prove himself coming
I'd probably
back.
put Duddy Boy up there.
Dirty Boy as a duelist, fourth.
Yeah, that Daddy Boy's kind of cracked.
Yeah, after killing you while he was flashed like what more than like 5 or 6 times in a single series.
I mean, the guy tears up every series. I think. I
Right.
think he's like carries I wouldn't say carries, but he definitely frags out for Legacy.
Just an absolute freak of nature, really.
Yeah.
And fifth, are you gonna back your boy Dragon or just tell him to GTFO?
Um, I don't know. I think Dragon definitely could be fifth.
Could be, but he just needs time to actually like work on it, prove himself.
I mean, I'd say like now he could be fifth, but it's hard to tell because
Yeah.
obviously he hasn't played any officials, right?
Right, right. Yeah, of course. It makes sense. All right. Now, Southeast Asia, because obviously it's it's no secret. Perth, Western Australia or something, you guys are closer to that part of Asia. 60 ping if you have good internet. And you just want to fully compete in Southeast Asia mostly now. Because OC, after today's news as well, you're just like, man, fuck this bullshit. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not worth it, really, and there's no like development that
Right.
makes sense. Like there's nothing to really play for in this scene.
It's still too early as well into the lifespan, I would say, well, in Oceania.
Yeah, like even if I was on order, like I mean, I doubt that would ever happen.
Well,
Even if I was on order,
don't
like
count your
would I
chickens
be
before they hatch.
could I even justify playing as much as I'm playing? You know what I mean?
How much
Would I
are
even
you
be
playing?
how much am I playing?
Yeah.
Uh, well, I
Jesus
mean, like
Christ, those eye bags. It doesn't look very promising.
if you look at the amount of work I put in, like coming up to a 20 or during the 20s,
Yep, yep.
yeah, it's definitely a lot. I wouldn't be like able to do that, um, for an extended period of time.
Right. Okay, well, say if you had a team that had some resources, would you much prefer the coach or something to be handling all of that and you just rest up as a player and think about like, your in-game calling and strats? Or would you just not trust it? You still have to do it yourself.
I think that you would have back and forth dialogue with the coach,
Right.
and I think a coach would have the lead role on the team. I don't think it makes much sense for the IGL to have a lead role
Yeah,
if you
fair.
have a coach,
Yeah.
just
But
because your coach can't develop. That makes sense.
kind of does. Okay, yeah, I can see what you're talking about. It's like a teacher with like his class. You don't want like the top student to be leading too much.
Yeah, because like if you don't trust the coach and you put in your own system instead of
Yeah.
like when the coach has his own idea on how to play the game, like the coach is never gonna be able to improve. Like the coach is gonna just be like, okay, what's the point of me coaching? You know what I mean?
Makes sense. Well, okay, even as a player, right? Like obviously it has to be detrimental to your performance when you're putting in this much work during a tournament. And you said like, oh, yo, these 7 p.m., these 9 p.m. starts are pretty clutch. But if you have to like say start at 3 p.m. or something, or like say earlier, after pulling an all nighter doing like prep, you're just screwed, are you?
I mean, I've never done an all night up before a series. I always make sure I get a sufficient sleep.
Okay,
Like I try to
fair.
go like at least 8 hours, right? So I wouldn't say it
Optimal
affects me.
performance.
The only difference is really like when it comes to improving. It's
Yeah.
like I can't put that much time into my individual improvement because I'm
Right.
focused on the team.
Right. And now, after now that you're a free agent, you'll have more time to work on yourself as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, right. Okay. Well, going into the future, right? I don't want to like be jinxing anything, but say one day you're just like done playing as a player and you want to move into coaching. Is that like something you would really be interested in? Because like
Depends
the pure
where
amount of
about.
prep that I've seen you do, just even as a player, holy crap! I'm not
I
like,
think like
yeah,
it would be fun to coach for sure. It's something I would be down to do.
uh
It's
huh,
something I've done for teams. Um, but I can't coach obviously, unless it's like worth my time.
Oh, you have some high expectations. So basically, look, if you guys aren't Chiefs or Order, I'm not coaching you. Piss off.
I mean, I will say like I'm not gonna leak, but like one of those teams did ask, but
Sheesh. Well, it ain't Order. They
what do you
already,
call it?
they already have the
It's not
coach.
about like it's just like like if I'm putting this much time into coaching,
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna be coaching an OCE team probably, you know what I mean?
Right, I see. Just once again, back to the
And
whole
like
point
I need
of
to be financially stable on my own or like stuff like that, justify that time.
to be able to spend all the time coaching. And obviously, if you get paid for it, even better.
Like, I can't even justify playing for much longer unless like, something works out.
Right, right, I see. And that's why now you're exploring options in Oceania as well as Southeast Asia, which is why the next question as well. And Cognic, I mean, I feel like he's kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but saying, like, when are you planning to go Southeast Asia since you recently got a roster in OCE? And, like, you know, you say, well, small flex, but you have, like, what, Vision Strikers in your friends list, you got Paper Rex and shit. I'm like, yo, all right, this motherfucker flexing on us. Okay, cool,
I
bro.
mean, I don't have any Vision Striker players, my princess. I played with one of them before
Uh huh. How's that?
because of Papa Smith in the chat used to coach one of their players.
Jeez, Jesus Christ, he's got some history then.
Yeah. But what do you call it? Wait. So the question was, when am I planning to go to sea? Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Basically,
Well, I think pretty soon. I've already playing with a team. Uh, I think Nerd Next isn't really going to
go
move
too far.
forward,
Right, right, right.
so I'll probably be playing C.
Okay, and like I have to ask this. It's Southeast Asia. That team is speaking English, right?
Yeah, so everyone in Malaysia speaks English pretty much. Um, I tried for some teams in the past that were pretty good,
Yeah,
but they just wanted English, in like Indonesian speakers or whatever, so couldn't really.
bro. You're half
Plus,
Sri Lankan. Why don't you just learn Indonesian? Like if you can learn like a team's
I mean, I
habits
told them I
overnight.
would, but they didn't.
Really?
They wouldn't. I mean, it's just like it's gonna take time for me to learn language and stuff like that.
Oh shit!
Like I
But yeah,
really.
you would actually spend the time to learn Indonesian just to get that opportunity.
I mean, it really depends on the offer, but yeah,
Can you speak any right now? Because like I'm pretty sure you immediately Googled.
absolutely not.
Absolutely not. How about Sri Lankan?
Absolutely not.
Oh
I mean,
my
my
god,
grandma
man.
left Sri Lanka at like the age of like 13 or whatever.
Okay, fair enough. Jesus Christ. Well, obviously you don't want to leak anything about Southeast Asia just yet, but my goodness, if you do actually manage, trial and be successful on a team, which I'm assuming they want you in the exact same position as the IGL as the captain role, right?
It depends again. I'm open to any role really.
So what? They throw you on duelist?
I mean, I'll become the best duelist.
I like that
Put me,
work ethic, man. Jesus
put
Christ.
me on anything, bro.
It's the thing that really amazes me about you. And like, even when you were in that chair factory, like, I'm gonna make the best goddamn chair. And now it's like you could be going to Indonesian teams. Like, my Indonesian's gonna be so smooth. I can run for senator in like 5 years. That's right, or something. I'm like,
Okay.
Jesus. All right,
I
bro.
think you're exaggerating a bit there, but yeah.
Well, if you do become a senator in like Indonesia, it's not a bad move for financially. I think.
Okay. I think that's not really in my bucket list.
Okay, fair enough, understandable. But okay, Southeast Asia. So obviously, right now from Perth, you can play with them over the internet. But if you got offered the chance to move, you would just like no questions asked. You would just fly over.
I mean, I'd probably ask a few questions first, but
Like what? Am I gonna be living in the slums? Am I gonna get shanked? Are you trying to rob me? Do you guys have
yeah, I
spicy
mean,
food?
like, I can't justify. I mean, it depends really. Like, hopefully, I'd be earning some money, and hopefully, I'd need some security, like in terms of like my future and stuff like that.
Right, right. Jesus Christ, man, you're thinking a lot about the future at this age.
Like, I wouldn't just want to send it and then like, 3 months later that or like 2 weeks later the team disbands, and then it's
Yeah,
like I'm stuck in fucking the
fuck nowhere.
the
Bangkok.
bottom of Philippines or something like that, and I'm just like, don't even haven't even learnt the language yet.
Well, I'm sure
But
in the Philippines they speak decent English, but just imagine being a pale white boy in the Philippines during COVID. Like no one, it's like, yo, is that fresh meat? Or something? I don't know.
yeah,
Christ
yeah.
Almighty. Well, man, tell you what, this hour of chatting's nearly up, so I might as well just talk about. I wouldn't really call it the elephant in the room, but I did want to talk to someone more knowledgeable about it than I am, obviously, about the scene. Well, not to make it sound bad, but just because I don't really, I don't want to read stuff that's super depressing, right? So, LCQ, what the fuck? Ronsky's already flown to bloody Sydney. He took a picture, and then literally half an hour later, I checked my phone while I'm at work, and it's like, big news. I'm like, whoa, everyone's just having a meltdown. Like, what's your thoughts on the whole thing?
From what I've heard, it sounds very like Riot really didn't give a like care much. You know what I mean?
Right. I
Like they
suspected
just
you're going to use a stronger word there, but you wanted to secure your future.
yeah. I think what they did was very poor.
Right.
Um, like they clearly have us as kind of an afterthought, and they don't really plan around us at all.
Small
I
region.
think like they really ignore the Oceania region, but they just kind of try to give us enough to pretend that they care. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like at the moment.
Christ almighty, that has to sting so much. But, I mean, for League of Legends, they obviously, care a little bit more because it's League, and I guess it makes more money?
Look, I mean, you're never gonna know if the scene makes money, um,
Right.
unless you try, I guess. I think, look, we don't have the best viewership, right?
True.
But I guarantee if you put us in a LCQ against Singapore, I guarantee you that game will have viewers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true, true,
Like,
true. Because the Asian, bro, Asians love games.
they don't need to give us a slot, but I guarantee you, if they let us compete
Yeah.
in another region, those games would have good views. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, like a mutual that I know, what's her name, Slugsy Kit. Like she was saying, since she's like Filipino, right? She's like the difference between how Filipinos like a game and how, say, Australians or Oceania people like a game is so different. Because guys here, they play a game because they're good at it, and they're like, oh yeah, I like it because I'm good. But in the Philippines, they don't give a shit. They're just addicted to like Valorant or CS or something. They live and breathe that shit. They just love every little aspect of it. They
Yeah.
love the game because they love the game.
I mean, when I used to play like the we used to play Dota 2, I had this Filipino at my school,
Uh huh.
and he had like 5,000 hours on the game,
How
and he
were
played with all these
how was
all
his
these boys
grades?
from the internet cafe,
Yeah,
and they weren't even like, I'm not sure if you know the Dota 2 rankings,
absolutely not.
but they would have been like the equivalent of like a bronze in that game.
What the Oh, I thought you were gonna hype it up. You weren't gonna say, "Yo, he spent 5,000 hours and he's like Master 3." Like, yo, I was like, "Bro, what the fuck? 5,000 hours and he got absolutely nowhere."
Yeah, and they used to like I used to play with them from the internet cafe, and I
Yeah.
was probably like the equivalent of like a gold or whatever at the time,
So they
and they would just
worshipped
hype
you.
me up there. Yeah, it was
Oh,
pretty funny.
oh, 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 Jackson, Jackson. Ah!
Yeah, they get me doing 1v1s and stuff. Good days.
Jesus Christ. Okay, that's fair. And like, even though they were shit at the game, they just loved it because
Yeah,
it's just passion purely.
yeah, and I mean a lot of them play at like internet cafes and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Uh,
It's like you meet up with your friends from school, you go to the internet cafe, you play
I don't know about you,
that kind
man,
of environment.
but I hate the environment in like internet cafes. It's dirty, it's filthy. There's like sweat, there's jizz all over the keyboards. I don't even know, and like it smells like darts in there. It's terrible.
Yeah, I mean for sure, like it's not optimal.
Optimal. Here we go again. You and optimal. All right. But you were talking about viewership, and like I gotta say, look, we have 16 people watching me chat to freaking Andy from like Toy Story right now. I'd say that's pretty good viewership for OCE.
Yeah, for sure. You know, get the SEA podcast in.
That's not a bad idea. I mean, I look like I'm from there. I just speak better English. I can speak
I
Chinese.
mean, I'm pretty sure Pilsky does that. He's got the
Bullshit.
geographically challenged podcast
Oh yeah,
about
that's
SEA
true.
Valorant. It
Yeah.
used to be about SEA CS, but it switched up.
Jesus, man. Well, maybe someday in the future, if I can actually learn Malaysian or Indonesian or something. But if they can settle for Chinese, I'll think about it. But yeah, Christ. Also, so back to the topic at hand because we really did, digress a bit. I say So you think that Riot they just pretended to kind of care about Oceania, and at the end of the day, they're like, what was it? The costs involved of getting the teams here? Because like, I'm sure that the flights to say America was going to be expensive. There's a hotel stay, but Riot probably has plugs, right? But then the quarantine for 2 weeks, and it's coming back. Apparently, that was the issue. The flights back to Australia very thin and few, costs like heaps, and quarantine here.
Yeah, I mean, what I've heard, like I can't say it's for sure, but like it's apparently they tried to get like the COVID exempt 3 days ago,
Yeah,
and they only booked the flights a week ago, right?
yeah.
So they obviously, even though that we've known the two teams that are going for ages, they like didn't even really try, and they left us the last
Oh.
second, and you're never gonna get approved in that time frame, really.
Christ almighty. Well, okay, look, dude, you say that, but at the same time, for the Red Bull Campus Clutch, like earlier in the year, they literally like booked the tickets like a day or two prior, and everything was organized on the fly. And I was like, holy shit, well, Red Bull has connections, right? And it's just that fuck you, Red Bull money. Surely it has to pull through. And Riot couldn't?
I think the restrictions have gotten tighter since then.
Fair enough, fair enough. And well, Campus Clutch was from New Zealand, so obviously that helped a lot. But oh man, is what it is. And like, I feel bad actually ending this like this little podcast episode on a sad note. So maybe let's try to price it up a little bit. I don't know what to say. Well, Jackson, what's your mum making for dinner, huh? You got some
Well,
curries
I'm at
going?
my dad's house,
The fuck?
so
No wonder why your room looks so clean.
my room looks clean. I
Well,
mean, you can only see my bed,
well,
so
it's white, like you.
what's your thoughts on the player feet? Should I answer that question?
Go for it. Just as long as you don't start talking about anything like foot fetish related.
Guy needs to
Holy shit!
stop
Here we
raging
go.
at his teammates, get a grip,
He
stop throwing
says.
my ranked games. Yeah,
Christ almighty, I thought you were gonna make a joke, but you were being fully serious there. Like actual feedback and criticism that he can work on.
look, if it wasn't for the
Yeah.
feet, I'd be up 18 RR right now, but I'm not. So
Oh my goodness gracious. And he's telling you to grow up. Christ. Well, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have been able to win that one game which you carried me in. Like you were taking the piss the first half as Rays, and then the second half you started just pushing, getting like 30 bombs. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You can just turn it on at any time.
yeah, dude, I told you I'm an up and comer. I just someone puts me on duelist, I'll be the best duelist. It's that
All
easy.
right, perfect. And I think I just heard your door open. Your mum's probably coming in with the beat stick because you're talking
Beat
smack.
stick.
You're talking smack about her cooking like last time. All right, okay, but seriously though, what is for dinner? Because we're at the close up, and I'm pretty hungry.
Look, I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm at my dad's, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pasta.
Pasta. Well, why pasta?
Why pasta?
Yeah. Well, it's not because you're white, but like, is your dad Italian or something?
Yeah, I'm Italian.
Wait, seriously, you're half Italian, half Sri Lankan.
Well, I'm quarter Italian.
A quarter Italian. Oh my goodness. All right, all right. Looks like you do eat well. You can experience bum pain over towards your mum's place, and then you come to your dad's and just pure like creams and fats. Not bad, not bad, and carbs.
And
Best of
carbs,
both
yeah,
worlds.
can't get the carbs.
All right, Jackson. Look, this is it. It's about to come to then the time, and last few questions. All right. Well, tell the audience really what's next for you. What's next for Minimize OC streaming Southeast Asia? You're gonna turn Vietnamese. What's the story?
I'm gonna hope to stream
Yeah.
maybe tonight.
Maybe.
or
Why?
like in
Why
5
maybe?
minutes.
Okay, fair enough.
Apart from that, probably see me in SEA. Uh, when probably play AEN out, and then probably my last OS tournament unless something changes in the scene. But yeah.
Jesus, man. Now you're making me feel sad. It's like I'm saying last goodbyes to someone I've spoken to for like the past year. Oh, Minimise. Not that I really give a shit about you, but sure.
Uh,
Oh, Christ almighty. But look, man, it was very nice having you back on again the second time to chat a little bit. Didn't manage to tell the stories about Nebula once again, but it is what it is, man. At least we got through a lot of progress and had a chat about your future aspirations, motivations, that kind of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. This has been Click Clack Chit Chat. I'm Digital Cast, and of course, my lovely guest, Jackson White. Minimize OC, show him some love. Guy needs it right now because he's missing half his eyebrows. But regardless, thank you for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.
Here's mate. Have a good one.